Даже принимаю на четвертушку эту из проволоки. Ну, это кусок проволоки, а не четвертушка.
W1VLF. Hey everybody, my name is Paul, W1VLF. Thanks for joining me back here in the lab. And I wanted to talk some more about the pirate stations on the U.S. military satellites. So again, how this all started is, saw a video on this on YouTube somewhere, and I thought, wonder if I can hear those guys, hear what's going on. So I tuned the only antenna I had, which is my FM log periodic, which is way up on the tower for FM broadcast band, horizontally polarized, and coming down through 350 feet of LMR or RG11. So it's quite a bit of loss, not the optimum antenna by any means. But I was tuning around and I definitely could see some signals. And if I really tried hard, I could definitely hear some audio, which I posted a couple of days ago. But since then, I've made a whole bunch of improvements. First improvement is a preamp was donated to the project by W1VD from Advanced Receiver Research, and that made a pretty good difference, getting the noise floor of the receiver down a little bit. And then the other thing is I changed antennas. I built a yagi, a 5-element yagi, and I have it on a tripod. You'll see some of that video later on, outside, and pointed up at the satellite. And I noticed a couple of things. First off, there are a bunch of digital carriers up there. Took me a while to figure out how to get those to decode. They're DMR carriers, and they're decoded, and the only thing I get is idle messages on all of them, and on a couple of them I get information like, you're not authorized to receive this. I'm not sure if that's something coming from the satellite, but it definitely locks up and starts spitting out data, but it's all stuff that says it's either idle or there's an error of some sort. But it does lock. But that's not the primary reason we're here. Primary reason we're here is listening to the other stuff down around 261 megahertz, the pirate stations. And I'll show you the antenna signals, what I started with and what I'm receiving right now with the 5-element yagi and the preamp outside, and it makes all the difference in the world. These guys are full quieting, as strong as a signal as you would need, and they're so reliable that they're actually on the same frequencies all the time. And there's some other neat stuff I'll show you on there. There's a bunch of these little digital noise floors, I guess you would say, which are probably the noise floor of the transponder. The AGC pulls up, brings the noise up, and as soon as someone keys, and they're typically 2 channels where you find these pirates on one of those noise floors, right? One is the left, occupies the left half, and the other one occupies the right half. And anytime any one of these carriers comes up, that noise floor goes completely away because there's a signal there, I'm assuming, and you have beautiful audio. Some other weird stuff like reverb and echo chambers and stuff like that. Also, there's I guess what you want to call keep occupied or keep alive signals, right? There's one that's just a siren that runs until the guy decides that he wants to come on. So evidently there's a little bit of competition even on these satellites. So the copy that you're going to be able to hear tonight is the best copy that I found anywhere on YouTube. The audio quality is great. Unfortunately, you can't squelch it in between transmissions, so that makes it a little bit tough. But there's so far 2 copyable languages. One is in Brazilian Portuguese, and I want to thank Antonio for that. I sent him an MP3 and he looked at it. And there's another language that I heard, which was Russian. And I want to thank Mike, KG2IS or W1PL. Mike translated some of that for me. I just sent him a short clip, but now I have good quality audio, so it should be easy to find. easy to listen to and translate. So the other thing is, and I'm going to run here in the other room real quick, is that the FM broadcast antenna was receiving both of these signals, right? The pirate stuff and also the digital the carriers. When I went to the Yagi outside, I find that the pirate stuff is on one satellite and the other stuff isn't there. The digital carrier's not there until I move across the horizon and point at them. Then those digital. So it's two different satellites that we're hearing. And I guess I could expect that because the antenna is not discriminatory. That FM broadcast antenna probably isn't discriminatory. But anyway, that's enough of this. I'll show you the setup real quick, and then we'll go over and take a look at what's going on, okay? Thanks for sticking with me. W1VLF. Okay, guys, here we are outside. And actually, let me mute this receiver here. Nope. Mute. Okay. So here's the 5-element beam that I designed. It's, 5 elements pointed at the satellite. We're using a tripod here to mount it temporarily. And here comes Sophie. Sophie, say hi. Okay. Now go. Go. Get. Anyway, so we have the 5-element beam. The 5-element beam is made out of 1/8" brazing rod, center element here, driven element rather, and a couple of ferrites just to kind of isolate the coax cable, and then 1, 2, 3 parasitic elements. And mounted with this kind of kludgy adjustable mount here. And you can see that it's elevated, pointing up into the sky, and that seems to be where the best signal I achieved was. There's also here a advanced receiver research preamp that's set up for 263 megahertz, and thanks to JW1 Victor Delta for donating that to the project. From there, I'm feeding it with this old power supply and man's best friend, the garbage can. I mean, what portable workbenches on wheels, right? So the first thing I did was tuned over to this receiver and looked for, this is a RSP2, and on battery power, looked for the best signal that I could find, and then kept aiming around. Now, this signal is the one, the location where I'm pointing right now is the one that shows the best signal for the pirates. And let me just pause for a second here, and I'll take a snapshot of the orientation, or well, let's say it's I don't know, maybe 25 or 30 degrees in elevation, and from here in Connecticut, and I'm pointing almost due east. So that's where the best signal came from. It also came from vertical polarization was the best signal. So I don't know how that jives with you know, a lot of these circular polarized satellites, or if this one is indeed vertically polarized. I don't know, but anyway, there it is. So I'll show you, oh, the other thing I wanted to mention was in this direction, this orientation, the digital satellite signals are not there, leading me to believe that there is more than one satellite that we're seeing on the original antenna, and I'll go through that. I'm going to put a couple of links to the guy's webpage, K7MEM, that I used to design the Yagi, and the actual designs that I used. And we're going to evolve through this. I'll show you the original antenna I used, and then this, and the remarkable difference between that, and of course that preamp made a huge difference. And we'll go and listen to a bunch of those. So anyway, that's the scoop there. Can't think of anything else right now, but we'll head over to the bench now. Everybody, I wanted to jump back in here just for a second. If you could do me a favor and hit the like button if you liked it. If you didn't like it, you can also say so. But if you did, I would appreciate that. And if you could share the video. We're closing in on 3,700 subscribers. I'd like to try to hit 5,000 if that's possible. Also, there is a super thanks button on the bottom of there that if you really enjoyed the video, you could hit that and throw a couple of bucks towards the channel. That would be appreciated. It helps me buy PVC, brass rod, and all the other junk. And thirdly, there's 120 something other videos. So if you were interested in this one, maybe subscribe or go back and look at some of the other videos. There's some really weird stuff in there. It'll eclectic, I guess, maybe would be a way to put it. Maybe just weird. Anyway, if you could do some of that stuff, I'd appreciate it. Thanks a lot. W1VLF out. Okay, quite a mess in here again, but just really quick. I'm using the RSP2 or the RSP-DX, and the original antenna here, the one that's wiggling now, that's from my FM broadcast antenna out on the tower. And it's not really an antenna designed for 263 megahertz, plus it comes down through about 300 feet or so of RG11, so there's quite a bit of loss there. But I was able to pick up the signals, and this cable is from the garage. It's from the pipes all the way through out the garage and over to where we were just looking. And the reason why I have A and B on there is so that I have them on the two inputs, so we can switch back and forth. Right now I'm on the B antenna, which is the one that receives all this DMR stuff. And the DMR stuff, hang on, let me sit down. I was able to decode that finally, thanks to guys like Ken and some other folks that helped me get the digital system working. But I finally got that working. And maybe in another video, I'll show you some of the decoded information. But the hint here is that all the decoded information is not anything that, it shows idle constantly on all these carriers. Every once in a while it says aloha and you can't join because registration is required. I don't know much about DMR, but probably in another video I'll show that. So right now I'm going to get onto the computer here and with the voiceover, and we'll look at a whole bunch of these signals and we'll compare antennas. Okay, we're back at the ham radio computer and stuff. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to back away from the microphone a little bit, I guess. Take a look at this. This is what I showed last time, right? These are all the DMR carriers, and what I'll do is I'll let you listen to a bunch of them real quick, and then we're going to switch antennas. Okay, so there's that, and there's that, and there's that. Okay, all different level, except for this one. I don't know what data rate, what that is, and maybe this one too. Yeah. So, but we're not interested in that. So let's mute that out. At the moment, we're not interested in that. Let's squeeze everything back up. And as you can see over to the left here, there's a bunch of little stacks of noise here. And these may not even be from the same satellite as my other antenna is on. So the antenna we're using right now is the log periodic for the FM broadcast band. Not cut for this frequency at all. Just the only thing I had available, right? And I'm seeing all these really interesting carriers here. So let's go over to what looks like. No, it just dropped. Okay, let's go over here and look at this. And here's the first. Let me bring that into the center of the screen and zoom out a little bit. And this was the first inkling that I might be able to hear some of these guys if I put some effort into it. So you can hear a little bit of audio there, right? All right, let me mute that. And again, notice these little mounds of noise. I think these are individual channels on the transponders, and I think this is the AGC in that transponder coming up when there's no signal present. Let me squeeze this back up again here. Okay, so here's a couple of them. Let's take a listen there. Okay, let's switch over antennas. Now we're going to go to the dedicated 263 megahertz antenna. We're going to have a preamp out there, and again, watch these little piles of noise here. They may be actually different than what we're seeing on this antenna. So let's switch to antenna A. Okay, and now let's take a listen. Let me get in the middle of that channel there. Let's try this one. Now you notice my noise floor came way up. That's because the antenna is close to the house. So I'm going to go shut off the solar panel system. Hold on 1 second. Okay, so now I'm back, and you can see how much difference the dedicated antenna makes. So these guys are pretty strong here. Let's go up to the memories real quick. I have one I call Russian because there was a couple of Russian guys talking there, but they're not always on. And notice here, they're on half of the transponder and not in the other half. Sometimes both halves will be occupied by two different pirates. So let's just fling through our bunch of memories here. See if anybody's talking on any of these. I didn't put a for everyone. Well, look at this one. Listen to the audio. They got reverb and everything. And notice that noise floor pop up whenever they drop the carrier. All right, let me just go through the rest of them here. Oop, not that. That distortion is because I don't have enough bandwidth there. And here's an interesting signal. I've listened to this one for quite a while. This guy runs that signal. And now you see here's another guy on the other side of the transponder. Let me center him up. Oh, what did I do? Okay. Here's another guy on the other side of the transponder. Watch. And so what happens is there must be so much competition for these transponders that this guy, I must have, runs a kind of a keep it alive signal there constantly. And here's another one too, or keep it occupied. Here's another one. Okay. Because he doesn't want anybody taking his half of the transponder. So, again, this is probably the best quality that I've seen on any video as far as the audio quality of these pirates. Let me just see if we can find that Russian, if those guys came on again. Nothing.
О, хорошее место нашел. Ну, хорошо, громко. Чисто. Тогда же и принимаю на четвертушку эту из проволоки. Ну, это кусок проволоки, а не четвертушка. Вот, стою в низинке, с правой стороны дом, а как раз вот запад, там частный сектор, между домов проходит, видно хорошо. Понятно. Хорошо. А ты ее по центру крыши лепил? Да, все по центру. Ну, надо ее подрезать еще. Я как поставил, там чуть попробовал подогнуть. А вот, но надо подрезать. Длина, наверное, большевато. Понятно. Ну, у меня, вижу, сбоку стоит. Ну, у меня даже длины бы кабеля не хватило. Ну, и, кстати, вот я ее по крыше двигал, вот, как бы, и КСВ нормально. Вот, двигаешь туда-сюда, КСВ прям сразу меняет. Не, я ее саму не двигал, она как стоит, так и стоит. Вот только проволоку согибал, она мягкая, пальцами гнется.
Okay, and let's grab this guy here. This is a good strong signal, right? And go back to the other antenna. We might be... So that's what I started with. That's what gave me the inspiration to try and do all the rest of the work to get these guys. Whoop. Wait till he talks again. The dramatic difference. Anyway, if you have any comments you want to leave, if you have anything you want to say, leave it in the comment section. I'd appreciate it. And if you have any more information on these satellites, let me turn that down a little bit because it is kind of a pain. I wish the Russian guys were on, but they're not. Look how strong that is. Oh, what's this? Nope. The Russian guys are on. This half of the transponder, and nobody's there right now. Anyway, if anybody wants to get an audio stream of one of these, I'll leave it on one carrier here, and perhaps do a kind of a translation. I'll post it up here as to what exactly is going on, because there's just so much. Anyway, I'm gonna run along here now. Thanks for okay, that's enough. We'll leave the Russian on here real quick and see if they decide to come up. If they do, great. If they don't, anyway, if you enjoyed this, leave a like and share it, or stick it on Instagram, or all those things that I'm not, all that fancy stuff. And if you really liked it, you can look at doing a super thanks for a couple of bucks to keep everybody on this end, which is me, incentivized. So I'll leave you